Hello everyone. So from today onwards, I'll start with your second semester syllabus. So I'll be handling complex analysis. Fine. Complex analysis. Paper M20T. Fine. So before starting, I have posted the syllabus copy in your group. So you might have seen it. Anyhow, totally there will be 4 units. So from each unit you will be getting 2 questions. Fine. So before getting to the syllabus, in this session, let me give you a brief recollection of all the topics of complex analysis, whatever you have studied in your UG courses. Fine. So generally, what is the complex number? So any number which is of the form z is equal to x plus iy is called as complex number. So this concept you have studied in your PU class, right? So where x and y are real number, so I is the imaginary number, and moreover the value of I is square root of -1 and I square is -1. Fine. So any number which is of the form z is equal to x plus iy is called as complex number. And you might have remembered the formulas for x is equal to r into cos theta in polar form, and y is equal to r into sin theta. And in exponential form, cos theta is equal to, it is all basics. Anyhow, I'll give you notes, but you have to remember this. Cos theta is equal to e power of I theta plus e power of minus I theta divided by 2. And similarly, in exponential form, sin theta will be e power of I theta minus e power of minus I theta divided by 2i. Fine. And in polar form, complex number is represented by r into cos theta plus I sin theta. So which we can further derived as, so r into cos theta can be written as e power of I theta in terms of exponential plus e power of minus I theta divided by 2 plus I into e power of I theta minus e power of I theta divided by 2i. So where I and I get cancels. So you left with r, let me take 2 common, e power of I theta plus e power of minus I theta plus e power of I theta minus e power of I theta. So plus e power of I theta minus e power of I theta get cancelled. Again, what we left with, you just look at the values. What we have is e power of minus I theta. I'm sorry, these terms, since I have minus here, I forgot. So the terms with plus and minus get cancelled. This term will be remaining. So let me write e power of I theta plus e power of I theta. So what you're going to get is r by 2 into e power of I theta. 2 get cancelled. Again we can write r into e power of I theta. So these are different forms of complex number. First one, z is equal to x plus iy in Cartesian form. Z is equal to r into cos theta plus I sin theta in polar form. And in exponential form, z is equal to r into e power of I theta. Fine. And further, let me explain the basics. Z, when we have z is equal to r into cos theta plus I sin theta, then modulus of z is equal to r modulus in the sense cos square theta plus I sin square theta, you will get cos square theta plus sin square will be 1. So after simplification, you will get mod z is equal to r. Fine. At the same time, I can write tan theta value as y by x, or theta is equal to, we can say theta is an argument, right? So theta is an argument where theta will be equal to tan inverse of y by x. Theta is argument. So this is, you are already studied in PU level. Now in the degree level, with reference to complex number, what you have studied is Cauchy-Riemann equation. Anyhow, we have studied the same in, we will study it in 4th sem as well. So Cauchy-Riemann equation, what it says, for any complex number, I can write dou u by dou x as minus dou v by dou y. Similarly, dou u by dou y as minus dou v by dou x. This is in Cartesian form. If you want, you can go through the notes or textbook of your UG classes. So Cauchy-Riemann equation for complex number is dou u by dou x is equal to dou v by dou y, and dou u by dou y is equal to minus dou v by dou x in Cartesian form. Similarly, we can write Cauchy-Riemann equation in polar form as dou u by dou r is equal to 1 by r into dou v by dou theta. Same time, dou u by dou theta is equal to minus r into dou v by dou r. Hope so in your 6th semester complex analysis is there. So up to here whatever I have explained, it is in PU level. So Cauchy-Riemann equation in complex form and it is in polar form. So you have to remember all this equation, then only you will understand the next concept. Fine. So you have to remember all this. So this is what the Cauchy-Riemann equation is. And in your degree classes you're familiar with some of the technical terms. Anyhow, I will explain the same technical terms I will be using in theorems directly, but at that time I am not able to explain each and every concept in detail. So let me explain now only. So first term we can say is neighborhood. So it will be familiar in differential calculus also. Neighborhood of a point. So neighborhood of a point is none other than, suppose let me consider a plane x and y. Fine. So neighborhood of any point z0, let me take a point z0 in a complex plane. So I have considered a complex plane. Let me define a neighborhood of a point z0. So if you are going to define a neighborhood of a point z0, it is in a complex plane is the set of all the points of z such that z minus magnitude of z minus z0 is less than epsilon. I'll repeat once again. In a complex plane, neighborhood of a point z0, suppose this is a point z0 and distance between them is epsilon. So neighborhood of a point z0 is set of all the points of z such that distance between z minus magnitude is none other than distance. So z minus z0 will be less than epsilon. Then it is called as neighborhood of a point z0. Fine. So epsilon is arbitrary point. And in the 6th semester you have studied exterior and interior points and determining whether the point is on the boundary or it is inside the boundary or it is outside the boundary. So I'll tell you just the definition. Suppose if in a complex plane, if you're going to consider a plane containing a complex number and a point z0 is said to be like completely interior. So z0 is said to be interior point only when if it is neighborhood of z0 is within S or completely contained in S. Suppose if this is a surface S, fine. So this is a surface S. Z0 is said to be any point which lies inside this surface only when Z0 is entirely lies within a surface. Fine. So similarly exterior in outside the surface and exactly on the boundary. If Z0 lies, then it is on the boundary of a surface. So it is quite similar as the name itself indicate. Fine. And the next definition is, let me tell you. So equation of circle in complex form, you are already familiar with that. So z minus z0 is equal to r. It is equation of circle in complex form. In particular, if a circle lies on center, that is, suppose if z is equal to 1, it represents a circle with center at origin. Fine. So z0 is origin. Here it is 0 and radius will be 1. So it represents a circle or unit circle which center on origin. So this is a general form of equation of circle in complex form. So this is a equation of circle with center at origin and radius 1 unit. Similarly, here we are going to use the terminology. So that is why I am telling you. Suppose if z minus z0 is less than r, then I can say that suppose if in a circle, if this condition satisfies, I mean if all the points inside the circle and on the boundary of a circle satisfying the condition z magnitude of z minus z0 less than r, then we say it as open disk. So we are going to prove theorem on open disk. So that is why I am telling you the concepts. And next thing, suppose if in a circle all the points and on the boundary of a circle, if it satisfies z minus z0 is less than or equal to r, then it is called as closed disk. In particular, suppose if it center is at origin and radius 1, this is called as mod, this will become mod z less than 1. Then we call this as open unit disk. Similarly, if this condition can be written as something like this, in the sense center at origin and radius is 1, we can say this as closed unit disk. So these are the terminologies which we are going to use for further proofs. So you just remember this is a equation of circle, and this is a equation of circle in its complex form with center at origin and radius 1. So if it is less than radius r, then we call it as open disk. If it is less than or equal to r, we can call it as closed disk. And similarly, the inequality z minus z naught is greater than r will be holds good for all the points, whatever may be, whether the point lies inside the circle or outside the circle, the condition will be holds good. So hope all these concepts you have already studied in degree. And further, you just remember, suppose z minus z naught less than r is open disk, and the same condition will be given with a reverse inequality, that will be closed. So while deriving the theorems, I will be explain that. You just remember this concept. Fine. And further, whatever the concept we have studied in differential calculus, that is limit of a function and differentiability, same concept will be applicable for complex numbers also. So I'll be writing like limit of a function is defined as, general definition is limit x tending to some particular point a, f of x is equal to L, right? So this is what the definition of limit is. In case of complex number, we are going to write limit as z tending to a, f of z is equal to L. So in place of x, we are going to represent it with complex number z. Similarly, differentiability condition is what we are going to say. Limit, when we are going to say function is differentiable, let me write it. So when we are going to say function is differentiable, so general concept it is. So anyhow, I am going to write here. Suppose if I have a function f of z, then if it is differentiable, then I can write it as f dash of z. So f dash of z, or I can say dw by dz will be equal to limit delta z tending to 0, basic definition of differentiability, f of z plus small change minus f of z divided by delta z. But what is the usual definition? X plus delta x minus f of x, right? So in place of x, I have writing z. So instead of x, we are going to replace it with z, where z represent complex number x plus iy. And remember, Laplacian equation is also holds good for complex number, but the difference is that what is the Laplace equation we have? Dou square f by dou x square plus dou square f by dou y square is equal to 0. But here we are going to discuss with reference to complex number, that is z is a function of x and y, right? So z is equal to x plus iy. So in terms of x and iy, we can write Laplace equation. So harmonic function, you are also familiar. When do we say function is harmonic? If it satisfies a Laplacian equation. These are all basics you have to remember. Further, these topics will be there in your next semester as well. So f dash is differentiability. This concept will be generalized for complex number, and Laplace equation is also generalized for a complex number. So this is what the basics you needed for the further studies. Now coming to your syllabus, first concept you have is analytical function. Analytical function. We can also say analytical function as regular function. Both are same. Analytical function or regular function. So what do you mean by analytical function? Any function f of z is said to be analytical at a point z is equal to z naught if it is differentiable at this point as well as in its neighborhood of all its points. So just now I have explained this neighborhood. Fine. So a function f of z is analytical only when it is differentiable at the point z is equal to z naught and also in its neighborhood. So what is the meaning of neighborhood? Just now I have told you, suppose if I have a point z naught here and z here, the distance between z minus z naught should be less than epsilon. So in success, suppose if we have z here, all the points around it will be z naught. Why? Because difference is very small. So closely lying point will be telling us neighborhood points. So if any function f of z is said to be analytical if it is differentiable at the point z is equal to z naught as well as its neighborhood, in the sense the points which is very close to that. Fine. And that is what the definition of analytical function is. And remember, if a function f of z is analytical at a point a, if function f of z is analytical, it is just a note point you have to remember, analytical at a point a, then f of z is differentiable. You have already studied this theorem in your degree classes. If f of z is analytical and f of z is differentiable, but converse is not true. In the sense, if f of z is differentiable, it cannot be analytical. So this theorem is there in your UG class, but you have to remember the statement. Further, we are going to make use of this statement in further proofs. Fine. Now, first theorem in your complex analysis of second sem is Cauchy's integral theorem. Cauchy's integral theorem. Fine. So, as per the Cauchy's integral theorem, let me write the statement. It states that if a complex function f of z is analytical within and on the simple closed curve, then line integral or closed integral f of z into dz is equal to 0. This theorem is important. Statement is like this: if a complex function f of z is analytical within and on a simple closed curve, then a closed integral over f of z into dz is equal to 0. So closed curve integral. So we can say it as a closed integral. Clear? So we have to prove that closed integral, or we can say this as line integral also same. So line integral f of z into dz is equal to 0. So this is what the statement of Cauchy's theorem is. Now, let me take, since it is clearly given in the theorem itself, f of z is a complex function. So, it will be of the form f of z is equal to u plus iv. Let me take a complex function. It is u plus iv. Fine. Now, I have z is equal to x plus I y. Now, let me differentiate this. dz will become dx plus I dy. Right? I have assumed a function as u plus iv. Now, we have to prove that line integral over f of z into dz is 0. Let me take line integral over this closed integral. That is f of z dz. Now, what is the f of z value you have? U plus iv. Dz value, I am going to substitute dx plus I dy. Now, let me simplify this. Integral over closed integral. So, u into dx, I am doing multiplication, plus I into u dy plus I into v dx plus I into I is I square. I square value will be minus. So I am writing it as minus v dy. Clear? I into I is I square value will be minus v into dy. This is what I have. Clear? Further, let me simplify this. I am going to group this as terms containing I and terms which is independent of I. In these two terms, we don't have I. So let me write separately u dx minus v dy. Fine. Now I am going to separate this integral. I am going to take I as a common factor. So you will get u dy plus v dx. Just I have taken I as a common term. So I get u dy plus v dx. And remaining the terms which is independent of I have written here. Now you have to remember the Green's formula. Green's formula, we have already proved it in your UG classes. So what is the Green formula says? Using Green's formula says that P into dx plus Q into dy will be equal to double integral of dou Q by dou x minus dou P by dou y into dx dy. So this is what the Green's formula is. P into dx plus Q into dy. When you have this form, you can write that as dou Q by dou x minus dou P by dou y into dx dy. Now compare this with, I am going to apply the same form for the above step so that I can write the above step as, see here, let me simplify this. Now I am going to apply, in place of P we have U. In place of Q I have minus V. So how can I apply this for above step? Let me write this: f of z dz LHS value. RHS can be written as what we say region, integral over the region, double integral, right? So single integral will be converted to, closed interval will be converted to double integral, right? So closed curve is changing to region. So u will become, see, first term P, we have first term P, second term Q. So second term will become dou Q by dou x. So first term U, second term V. V should become dou V by dou x. That is minus dou V by dou x minus, which is in the formula itself, dou p by dou y. First term is p. Here first term is u. So I can write dou u by dou y into dx dy. Hope so it is clear. Now let me see, for the second term also I am doing the same. Plus I as it is. Now this closed integral will become double integral over the region R. First term is u. But here I have, for the first term, you have to write last. In place of p, see here I have to write q. No, in place of q what we have? V. So I can write dou v by dou x minus dou u by dou y into, it is just a substitution, you should know this. Fine. So I have applied a Green's formula for the above step. Now since f of z is analytical, why? Because it is given in the theorem itself. If a complex function f of z is analytical, so function f of z is analytical, it is given in a theorem statement itself. Let me write f of z is analytical, it is given in the statement. So remember, if a function is analytical, we can apply Cauchy-Riemann equation. Just now I have explained the basics. So what is the Cauchy-Riemann equation says? Dou u by dou x will be equal to dou v by dou y, and dou u by dou y will be equal to minus dou v by dou x. Analytical function is also there in your UG classes. So if a function is analytical, we can apply Cauchy-Riemann equation. Dou u by dou x will be dou v by dou y, and dou u by dou y will be minus dou v by dou x. Now I am going to replace in the above step. So closed integral f of z dz can be written as integral over r. Now how can we write minus dou v by dou x? I can replace it with dou u by dou y minus. Now remember, you should not replace for both the terms. Why? Because if you replace both the terms, you cannot simplify further. Why? Because our aim is to get 0 in RHS. LHS I have already, so I have to prove RHS value 0. So let me keep the second term as it is, that is dou u by dou y dx into dy plus I into integral over the region. Next we have to replace dou v by dou x. Shall we replace dou v by dou x by dou u by dou y? Or else we can substitute for other term. It depends on your wish. And further remember, here as per the Green's theorem, dx coefficient is p. Fine. And dy coefficient is q. So y coefficient first you have to write. In the second term what I have done a mistake here. See, y coefficient is u. But first term what I have to write is y coefficient, right? So y coefficient I have written it as v, but what I have to write is u. So it is dou u. Similarly, it is dou v. So while applying Green's theorem, please take care that first term should be coefficient of dy and second term should be coefficient of dx. Fine. So here coefficient of first term is coefficient of dy, right? So here coefficient of dy is u. So that is why I have written u here. Next is coefficient of dx is v. Fine. Now let me apply Cauchy-Riemann equation. Dou u by dou x, whatever the term you want. So dou u by dou x I am going to replace here, so that dou v by dou y get cancelled. So dou u by dou x can be written as dou v by dou x minus of dou v by dou x into dx dy. Fine. Now dou u by dou y, dou u by dou y, dou v by dou x, dou v by dou x. Both the terms get cancelled. So what I have obtained is f of z dz closed integral will be equal to 0. So this is what I have to prove. Let me go through once. Cauchy's integral theorem state that suppose if f of z is complex function, we have to prove a complex analytical function, we have to prove closed integral over f of z into dz will be equal to 0. Now let us assume complex function as u plus iv, and we have already know that z is equal to x plus iy. It is the standard form of a complex function. I have differentiated it and I have considered the LHS value. I have substituted the values of f of z and dz. I have multiplied the terms and taken the common factor which has I and which is independent of I. Now I have to apply the Green's theorem. Remember, this is the major step where you are going to do the mistake. So first term should be coefficient of y, second term should be coefficient of x. So here first is y, so v I have to differentiate. Next is x, so u I have to differentiate. Here first we have to differentiate y. The term containing y is u, so that is why I have done u. Next is v, so I have done this. Next I am applying, since f of z is analytical, remember Cauchy-Riemann equation will be applicable only when f of z is analytical function. So f of z is analytical, it is given in the theorem itself. So I have applied Cauchy-Riemann equation so that the terms will be cancelling on both the sides, so that RHS value will become 0, hence the proof. Hope it is clear. So in the next session, let me continue consequence of Cauchy's integral theorem. you just go through the video. I'll send you the notes by evening. Thank you. Continue in the next session.